Hey, what up everybody? Steve Breach coming to you live today in the outside here, enjoying a nice sunny day here in California. Yesterday was a real big one if you're a Sting fan. Sting showing up at his first WWE event. Michael Cole, sort of announcing him to come out to the world at Comic-Con. Now he's got a t-shirt, he's got a figure, he's got his own video game commercial. Now what does WWE have to offer for Sting? I thought that honestly, I'm not the biggest Sting fan, but yesterday was a real cool moment for any wrestling fan. I'm not here to, throw rocks at TNA. TNA is an awesome show to watch on Thursday nights if you want to watch wrestling. But I think the one thing that everybody knows when it comes to, the way that they're able to shoot their shows, the way that they're able to, put all their money into production of everything, it's always going to look nicer. The one thing that TNA is able to do, that they're really able to separate itself, to make itself better from WWE, is to showcase its roster. When it's at its full capacity, with everybody being able to be on it, especially with Kurt Angle, the Wolves, and Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, MVP. They got some guys that can really go. They're really able to highlight their wrestling. The one thing that really WWE tries to hide from. They don't even like to call their wrestlers. They like to call them superstars. That's one thing that really TNA has for them. When they had their big boom in 2005 and 2006 with Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe, that is what really made them separate. I mean, they also were highlighting the fact that they weren't PG wrestling. They let their guys cuss out there in the ring, and they left it up to Spike TV if they wanted to bleep it or not. But the way that they shot Sting in just basic YouTube videos in the back, they lighted Sting to make him look like the biggest star that there's ever been in the world of wrestling. From here, what does Sting really have to offer wrestling is what the question is. Everybody's asking Sting if he's got to wrestle again. In my mind, there's Undertaker. That's really the only person that I can see Sting wrestling and having a big, sort of following behind it to really, get the people from the past to make them come forward. I'm, horrible. I've said all of last year, pushing to WrestleMania 30, I wanted to see Hulk Hogan versus John Cena as sort of like who is the better superstar of which era. We've seen this 1,000 times with wrestling. We've seen it, The Rock versus John Cena. We've seen Hogan versus Rock. Lots of era versus era matches, and they always really pay off. Hulk Hogan wasn't able to wrestle. He wasn't able to do it. He'll probably never ever wrestle again. But being a Hogan fan, I was asking for it, and I just want to put it out there because I don't want big Sting fans to come say that I'm sort of hiding the fact, because it's true. I did want to see that match, but I don't really want to see any Sting versus this era. Sting was from WCW. He was able to wrestle in TNA. Let's face it, though, he was able to make that company step up and be on a real national scale. He was the real first, true Hall of Famer to really go there, to put him on the map. From there, they got Raven, they got Rhino, they got Christian. They kept, building on these WWE superstars that were coming to them to really say, we are the big time. Then they finally got Kurt Angle to really take that step to put them in that main event category, almost there with WWE. I'm not even going to say almost. I think they were right there with them. There was a chance they could have took them, but one thing led to another, and it just never happened. But Undertaker versus Sting may never happen, because Undertaker might not be able to wrestle again. We saw how beat up he was after every year at WrestleMania, and I don't really know the appeal of Undertaker having a match after losing the streak. When Sting was asked who he wanted to wrestle, he said Triple H, John Cena, Randy Orton. WWE, was putting this out there on Facebook and Twitter, saying that who would you want to see Sting wrestle? And Triple H was the one guy that came out there. Triple H can have a great match with anybody. He's able to, hide everybody's flaws and emphasize on, wait a minute, did I say that right? He's able to show everybody, emphasize on their greatness, and he's able to hide their flaws. They're able to build off of that. It might be a good match. I don't really see it having a good build. Randy Orton and John Cena just doesn't really make sense. It's not a match that I want to see. Who is out there that you want to see? I don't want to Sting come back and be wasted with, I was going to say Santino, but he just recently got retired. I just don't see a lot of wrestlers out there. I think that, Sting has a place in WWE. He can sell some t-shirts. He can help with the network. I'm just not real thrilled about seeing him wrestle in the ring. That's just me. That's just what I'm thinking about. There's always something out there for him. I mean, WCW closed 13, 14 years ago now. Everybody, throws rocks at the ECW guys trying to put together one more ECW hardcore show, saying, this is over. We've seen it. One Night Stand 1, One Night Stand 2. Then they did the TNA hardcore show, which was probably one of the worst pay-per-views in the world I've ever seen. Sorry to Tommy Dreamer, but I don't know. It's just, let's just keep some things buried. I know a lot of people want to see Sting wrestle one WWE match, but who is really out there that you want to see him go out there against that's going to make sense storyline-wise? Do you want to see Sting versus Triple H, Sting versus John Cena, Sting versus Randy Orton? What is a match that's going to make sense, that's going to make money, that people are going to care about? Thanks, everybody.